I always tell everybody that I hate all shopping except grocery shopping because for some reason I and food are just like this.
Welcome to America's Breadbasket, where contrary to popular belief, we don't all live on a farm in the middle of the prairie.
Alright, yeah. Milk your cow.
That's why I'm taking a series of field trips, literally, to meet some women who are a lot like me, except they're farmers. Let's find out what's happening in the heart of our country's ag industry.
I'm Ruth from Scribner, Nebraska. My husband Sid and I farm, and we have corn, soybeans, and alfalfa, along with a small beef cow herd. I'm passionate about agriculture, and I want everyone to understand that science and agriculture go hand in hand. After all, everything in agriculture is science.
Hey, I'm Denise McAfee. My husband Jeff and I live south of Lee, Nebraska. We farm here and raise beef cattle. We also have a small cow-calf herd. We raise corn and alfalfa, which we feed to our cattle. We also raise soybeans and wheat. And I'm really passionate about agriculture because, you know, we need to tell the story of agriculture, because if we don't, who will? Our farm is an integrated cattle and crop farm, which means the crops that we raise go to feeding our cattle. That cropland also serves another purpose because the byproduct from the cattle, the manure, goes back on our cropland.
Thanks to new, innovative fertilization methods, today's American corn farmers are growing 87% more corn per ounce of fertilizer.
Okay, right here in front of us, this is our holding pond. This contains all the runoff water from our yards. So that goes into how are we protecting the environment. We're catching all the drainage off of our farm, off of our livestock. We off in the distance, we have a pivot. We will pump that water onto the field, okay, but we're not gonna pump it so much that it runs. It's gonna be applied at a time when the plants need the nutrients, and also it's probably dry out, so it's gonna soak in.
They'll sample this product before it goes out there so they know what's in it, and then they know how much to apply.
So when I drove here, I saw a lot of fields, I saw a lot of pivots, and all I could think about was how much water is being used to water these fields. But I'm interested in what else you folks are doing or other farms are doing to make sure that we're conserving water.
We irrigate. We do not have any sort of, settling pond or anything because we don't feed cattle on that scale. So we are pumping water from underground resources. And so as we pump that water, we have a meter on our well that tells us how much water we're using. We work very hard to keep that at a minimum for a lot of reasons. One reason is we don't want to deplete that water because that water is allowing us to do some things that we can't do without it. Another thing is it's expensive to pump water. So we've talked a lot about nutrient management, and that all deals with soil. And so we're going to take a look at some cover crops that also help our soils be healthier, more diverse things, and then also show you what a soil sample is all about.
Soil conservation is a combination of farming practices that works to keep the soil in place by limiting erosion due to wind or water.
We are in a cover crop area. This was originally planted last fall as wheat. Okay, so we harvested that in July.
Cover crop just does fantastic things for your soil and for the health. It also enhances the biodiversity. What you're looking at is your goal of soil health, maintaining plant cover, and there's a lot of different cover crops that can do that.
Is there like a shelf life of soil? Like, will this eventually wear out and you can't plant things here? Will we run out of good soil to plant crops in someday?
I have read some articles where they're talking about, we've got 60 harvests left. What they are basing that number on is on soil loss globally. Okay? Now, there's probably some places that are losing soils through erosion, whether it be water erosion, wind erosion.
Improved tillage practices on the farm have cut soil erosion by 45%.
I've said it several times. I want this to be here forever. I want generations after generations to be able to be out here and grow food. And we are finding better ways to grow food every single time we come out here.
Are there other examples of cover crops that other farmers plant besides the turnips and the radishes, or is that pretty standard?
A lot of it depends on where you're at, what your moisture level is. Again, cover crops are like so many things. We plant what works best in our environment. What you're looking at is your goal of soil health, maintaining plant cover, and there's a lot of different cover crops that can do that. So as we get into this time of year, and especially further into the fall, we're going to come out and we're probably going to take some soil samples to find out what is going on in our soil, what nutrients are there, what we might need to supply for the future. So there's a couple different ways that we sample soil. One of them is we can go out with a hand probe like this, and we simply go out into an area and take several core samples. If somebody else wants to take a sample, you just have to step on it and push it into the soil.
It's really hard.
Maybe move right in here. You'll be in between the.
You might be right on top of the row. What did you think?
Well, I thought it was really interesting, and you both have mentioned this several times, all the science behind, because just, again, not knowing much about really anything about agriculture, driving by you just think, oh, well, there's some crops, and then you just put water on them and they grow, and then they're back again the next year. And so it's interesting to see all of the cycling that happens in the soil testing, the science behind everything as well.
It is just mind-boggling, the amount of things that have changed due to scientific discovery. And
The precision even too
Yes.
was
Oh,
really
yes.
interesting to hear you mention words that I'd never heard of before. And we'll be Googling on the way home.
Yeah, we kind of need a little glossary. You know?
Yeah.
we need a glossary of terms and words.
A
that,
vocab list.
Yeah, a
something.
little vocab list.
I appreciated some of the more like regenerative practices that you're using. I think for me, like something that's important is like the sustainability aspect of just conventional farming in general. Like, are we doing it in a way that is adding to the health of our planet and our food supply, or are we taking away? You know, like are we feeding the soil back? You know, back into the system. And so it was cool to see like the crop cover and the fertilizations and things that you were doing naturally using just plants in the ecosystem.
We work so hard to do it right. And I want people to understand that we really want to do it right, you know, and right looks different for different places. You know, there's
Wouldn't
so much
understand.
diversity, so much
Yeah.
difference in climate, difference in soils, whatever. Right is very particular to your set of circumstances.
And we're not trying to destroy anything.
No.
I mean, you've got to be good to your animals, you've got to be good to your soil, or you're going to be out of business. Well, I'm just so glad that everyone could come out today and see the farm and learn about what we're doing. And it was, great to have Ruth here.
It's been great. I just love sharing what we do. It just makes it more worthwhile.